What's going on, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to Olsen Auto. Now in today's video we have, well, a lot of cool stuff happening. First, I have to check the oil on my car, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys all of the fun, stupid money spending tricks I have up my sleeve for today. Feels good to be back in Rhode Island. Gonna go ahead, take the Prelude to a, well, top secret location that I'll tell you about in just a second after we check the oil. And what does the magical B21 have to say? It's got some oil. Alright, let's get a cold start on the old race car. You can tell someone else is driving it last because I can't reach the clutch. Cold start. Yes, I did top it up with some oil. May not have been the right oil, but it was still oil nonetheless. Now let me tell you guys what we're going to do. So I'm about to go head out to a local gun store. I know I've never made content like this before for you guys, but I figure it'd be a very interesting first time. I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up yet. I'm thinking either an AK-47 or an AR-15. Currently, I have my Mossberg Patriot 30-06. Love that rifle. So I'm thinking AR, AK, something like that. Not sure. Probably going to get my YouTube video very quickly blocked from being promoted for even saying those words, but I don't really care. So we're heading out to a local shop. Hopefully they have what I want for my price range. I'll share with you guys what I get if I end up getting something. In addition to going to the gun store, we're going to take the KTM subframe, which is what we'll be working on tonight. Gonna get it tagged up, and there's also a hole. Might have them drill it out too, but probably just do that myself. So off to the fun store. So shout out to these people for 20 bucks. I'll pick it up tomorrow morning. The subframe will be all welded. It is East Coast Fire and Rescue aluminum welding, I think. I don't know, but shout out to them. Now let's go to the fun store. So here we have a new stock, a 15-inch free float rail system, and in my pocket a receipt for a new Stag Arms AR-15. A little bit over budget, but you know what? I got a really cool rifle that I get to go pick up next Saturday, so now I'm not going to be able to sleep for the next week. But got a new rifle, got some fun parts for it. Let's go work on the KTM. Okay, so admittedly, it's the next day. I got the receipt right there for the new gun that we're picking up on Saturday, next Saturday. If you guys want to see a video on that, comment down below. Let me know if you guys want to see more gun content. Quick way to get demonetized and blocked, but I'm not making money anyway, so I don't really care. Anywho, next day, I just made some money, picked up the subframe. Not the best weld, but it's welded. What we're going to do, I have a box of parts right here of air filter, motor oil, bearings, and a whole bunch of other little KTM stuff. We're gonna go throw this in the bike. Yeah, let's just go to the bike. I'll show you guys what we're doing, what we're not doing, and hopefully I get to ride it in an hour or two. So the first order of business, I did fix this, if you guys saw in the last KTM video. Put the new clutch gasket on that was leaking out case oil. Drained the case oil out of this, never put the drain bolt back in, just because if I look on the bench before I go to start it and I see the drain plug, obviously I'll remember I need oil. And also have to put the new seal on, so I gotta throw the O-ring, the spacer, the seal, and then the sprocket on. And then I gotta take the carb off. Probably gonna take the carb off very first. Don't have to disconnect anything, just gotta pop it off. Pop that boot off, put my new boot in, because this one's all dry rotted and cracked. Obviously gonna let in extra air and make it run a bit lean. Then we're gonna pop in the rear wheel bearing, put the exhaust back on, put our slightly sketchily welded subframe back on, a little tweaked, but makes it fun. Another thing we found out wrong was the clutch perch, but I'm not gonna race with it like that, but it is good for testing purposes. Let's go ahead, pop the carb off, seal, subframe, reassemble, disassemble, you know the deal. So this is the counter shaft. You're gonna seal this up first. New O-ring, put a little oil on it, just gonna slip it on, and then spacer, washer, seal, spacer, seal, washer, something. So the way it went was washer, O-ring, spacer, seal, sprocket, and then this all assembled, hopefully somewhat correct. Feels tight and decent. Now we're gonna pop this carb off real quick, replace the boot. I say real quick, this ain't gonna go well. But, yeah, we're gonna pop the carb off, replace the boot with a factory new one, and then fill it with oil, rear wheel bearing, chain and sprocket, reassemble, put the exhaust on, tank, plastics, and then take it for a test ride. So that's the new car boot installed. Here's the old fuel line. I don't have to explain to you guys why this is absolutely trashed, super dry rotted, not even the right fuel line, but Right here we have a nice preformed fuel line from OEM KTM. I'm going to go ahead and put that on, so fuel delivery will not be a problem. Filling her up with some 1550 weight. Hopefully it stays in the engine. Hopefully that seal is all buttoned up correctly and it wasn't like another seal. And then after this, the rear wheel bearing, and then exhaust, put it all back together. So that is the most stuck spacer we've ever had to deal with. But right here, that's the old seal. This is piece of the bearing to get the spacer off of the rest of the bearing. A piece of the bearing actually broke clean off. Certainly, yeah, so that piece of the bearing actually broke clean off. Certainly not how that was expected to go, but we assume that's an original 2004 bearing. Look at all the dust that came off. So one more side to go, then we have to punch this bearing out, then the other bearing. But then putting the new bearings in is usually pretty easy, so once we have the old ones out, hopefully we can fix that up. The next clip you guys see, the rear wheel will be back on the bike. So the rear shock bolted up and tight. The rear wheel got that freshy new wheel bearing. No more play left. Chain was actually lubed this time. The previous guy used WD-40. This is actual chain lube. Got this on. Got the shifter back on. Got front fender and the number plate on. This was reassembled with one of my new boots. Now we got to throw on this subframe and then the exhaust and plastics. So the silencer is closer than it was before with the proper bracket installed in the front. This one I switched around because it was also installed wrong, which I think is kind of funny. I got to tighten it down a little bit more. Not perfect. I'm going to hopefully get the new pipe and silencer in a couple weeks, and hopefully that will fix the ill-fitting part. We're assuming it's just nice and dented and bent and tweaked so that it doesn't fit. Hopefully a new pipe and silencer will fix that. Hopefully it's not the subframe. Worst case, it's a $250 subframe. It's not the end of the world. Now, I'm going to do a quick bolt check on the exhaust, plastics, get some gas, and hopefully it doesn't idle high or run like trash. That's an exhaust. Alrighty, so last time we left off, and sorry for the poor camera quality, I keep having trouble with this lens and this camera, so I really want to look into getting a new camera soon, but besides the point, last time we left off, the bike was, well, leaking premix all over the ground, smoking a lot, and kind of running a little weird, but not too bad. The current hypothesis, A, the exhaust is leaking up where it goes into the head. So gonna go ahead, going to fix it so that's solid, and then wherever the silencer ends up, it ends up. Hopefully getting a new exhaust system pretty soon to fix all those issues, because I think that pipe is severely bent. Gonna fix that, make sure that's solid and there's no leak there. Then we're gonna also make sure the carb is clocked right so that it's not at an angle, which would make it over fuel. So disassemble the bike again, fix the carb. I don't even have to disassemble the bike. I can just loosen the screw, rotate the carb, fix that. I also do have to pick the bike up on the center stand, rotate my rear axle because I'm pretty sure it's in backwards, which is fine. That takes 10 minutes, like 2 minutes. Do that, and then maybe even take the bike for a spin through the woods.
No joke. Little bit of smoke, but idle sounds a lot better.
That's no choke cold start. So, took it for a quick test rip. No longer leaks fuel, supposedly, as it seems. Feels nice and torquey. It has at least third gear. Doesn't seem to be leaking any oil out of either of the crevices that it was before. So it's not leaking out of the clutch sleeve and it's not leaking out of the counter shaft. Awesome. Chain's a little tight. And I was riding. And then all of a sudden it goes really loud and kind of tingy. I was like, oh, I just blew the bottom end. But no, the exhaust fell clean off. So she went straight pipe for a second. Sounded terrible. So if you're wondering, don't straight pipe your two-stroke. But gonna try to pop that back on so I can warm it up. Seems like it has a bit of a high-end hesitation. Gonna fix that. Just keep messing around with it, tinkering it, and then hopefully I'll throw the helmet cam on, get a little rip to the woods, blast it around, and see what she does. Alright guys, so one thing I just realized is this lens is kind of messed up because I dropped the camera a few times while working on cars, so if I'm not in focus, I apologize. I'm trying to rectify that situation, but cameras are expensive, so you guys are gonna have to wait. But you guys saw it, the KTM absolutely rips. It is super torquey, very vibratey. I think it's because the header pipe, the expansion chamber, isn't tight in the head. I figure with new springs and an actual new pipe, because that one I think is pretty bent. It's dented for sure, which is gonna restrict power. I think it's also pretty bent, so the trick is new pipe and silencer. Gonna go ahead, we're gonna do that. It rips, no more leaks from what I can see. So I'm gonna end the video here. If you guys liked it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay updated on all my latest videos. But like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.